If you'd like to, please go ahead and follow me on Instagram and Twitter, November 2427 Bravo. Also check out my blog, irish.aero. Hello from College Station, Texas. So I left Fort Collins this morning. Had the plane, I think I was wheels up at about 5:15 in the morning. So that was about or 15 minutes before sunrise. And my plan was to go to Plainview, Texas, which is basically mostly south, a little bit east. And the logic was to fuel up there and then continue to College Station, which is more of a east southeast type cut across central Texas. Um, However, once I got south of, once I got a little bit, I guess, 2 hours into the journey, more maybe 2.5, into that first leg to Plainview, it became apparent, looking at the way the weather was developing, that I was actually going to put myself on the wrong side of some fairly nasty sort of thunderstorm type things. I guess it's the middle of June, it's 14th of June, so it's, thunderstorm season in these parts, I guess. So what I decided instead was, I think I was en route to the Dalhart VOR at the time. I thought, no, I'm going to go left here and just go east, stop somewhere for gas, but basically continue east until I get past the northeast corner of this weather system, and then I can turn south. So that's what I did. I stopped in Childress, Texas. 24-hour, self-serve fuel operation. Nice runway. It was just, even at whatever time I was there, 9 a.m. let's call it, hot as hell. Just was already roasting hot. And when you're standing on the step ladder up on top of the wing, and it's just that hot, the pump just seemed to take forever, seemed to be slow. I don't think it was slow, I just think it seemed slow because it was so hot. So there's not an FBO there, it's just a gas pump. So very brief stop, got on my way again. Just a nice side note, when I departed Fort Collins, it was, as I said, pre-dawn, so relatively speaking cool. And once I got south of Denver's Class Bravo, climbed up to 11,500 as cruise altitude, and it was actually really pleasant, both still in terms of the air, but also cool. So probably, I think it was like in the 10 to 14 centigrade range. So that's all lovely and fine and everything's nice. Then I started to descend to come into Childress, and just every 1,000 feet you went down, it just got hotter and hotter and hotter. So eventually, when I landed there and got out to fuel up the plane, it was just that, hot weather. So back in the plane, climbed towards the cooler air, and really did have to go quite a way. Let me just look at where that is. I had to go much further east than I thought I would, to be able to clear that weather system. And I was looking at the track log. SPSs, that's Wichita Falls. I think I pretty much went almost as far as Wichita Falls before I was able to start south. So there was just a big block, a quite significant weather system that I really just had to skirt around. And even at the end, you could see it was kind of building ahead of me. So I had a couple of moments where I thought I was, I thought I was clear of it, but it was just kind of billowing a little bit in front of me. But Eventually got it behind me, and again, the only other thing worthy of note was when I came down. Um, I did a kind of a long, quite a ways out from College Station. Started a descent down, sort of, 300 or 400 feet a minute, reasonably gentle, descent, and again, just that sense that every 1,000 feet getting hotter and hotter and hotter. So I was glad of the aircon, turned on the air conditioning as I came down. But if my memory serves me correctly, it's not, you're meant to turn it off as part of your final checklist. So I did turn it off when I was downwind for College Station. But, fabulous facility at College Station. Came in nice, a couple of good big runways, and Aston Aviation, where I've parked up, looks wonderful facility. So um, that's where the plane will be for a night or two when I'm at my meetings here in Fort Collins, or in College Station rather. So then, it's just back to looking at the weather over the next couple of days. What I might try and do is maybe get some of the way back tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening. Again, there ain't no way I'm flying low levels down around here, too bumpy, too hot. I'd want to just get up and maybe try and make it halfway back, let's say. I'm not quite sure. Maybe Amarillo actually would be a good stopping off point. So just maybe spend the night in Amarillo and leave it then. That on Wednesday morning I have a relatively short hop back home to Fort Collins. So it was a great experience, primarily because it's weather you just don't get in Fort Collins. You know, Clouds starting at, let's say, maybe 4,000 up to, and in fact some heads rising probably up to 13, 14,000. You just don't get that, and the sense of being able to fly around them, it was just a wonderful experience that I've not really had before. I also really felt today I learned for the first time my plane is meant to be, and it was something that another guy I know who owns a Turbo 182 told me, the it's only when it gets into those sorts of altitudes, 9.5, 10.5, 11.5, whatever, that's really when the turbo is helping you out big time. And I was actually astonished at the difference. I mean, you know about it because it's in the POH, but when you see the difference in the true airspeeds that you get, higher up, it was phenomenal. So the just really, it's a long journey. I wanted to do a long trip, and this is a long trip. Wouldn't want to be doing it every week. Um, I think I'm always struck by the ease with which you can fly around the US for business or pleasure. The type of thing I mean is just, the 24-hour stations, gas pumps where you can stop and fuel up, FBOs all over the place. The physical infrastructure, the number of airfields, the quality of them, the quality of the runways. Secondly, VFR flight following is just an amazing service to have. You can leave Fort Collins, get on the radio completely unannounced, and say, "Hey, help me out with getting to wherever it happens to be." That is an amazing thing. And coming from Europe, where I learned to fly in Northern Ireland, it's a complete joke in terms of the legal framework. To fly 30 miles south, you need to notify 2 police services and 2 customs services 24 hours in advance, and that's in a place where the gods themselves don't know what the weather's going to be like tomorrow. So it's just friggin' ridiculous. Whereas here, I'm trying to remember what the distance today for that was, but I think even direct, I think it's over 700 nautical miles, and 726. You can just hop in and go and kind of, you know, it's just an amazing facility, let's say, to enjoy. So it's amazing. And the third point I'd make is for flight. Just, you know, to some extent, the iPad was made for planning flights. The sort of drag and drop to another airport and navigate around MOAs and so on and so forth. It's fantastic. Just so good. And you know, logs your tracks to help you with log. Just everything from the big features to the little features is fantastic. So, um, that all being said, I am tired. So, it's not a. I wouldn't like to be getting up tomorrow morning to have to do, you know, to go the entire journey in reverse. You know, it's there's not really truly a relaxation moment in it, particularly the second half where you're looking at the weather. But even in the first half, you've got your frequency handoffs and all of that, so you can't really be asleep at the wheel in any sense of it. So, but great learning experience, and really, I felt, you know, the way to stretch my legs, so to speak, was by just doing something that was so far, you know, out of my comfort zone. Pardon me, out of my comfort zone in terms of flying that I've done before. So, all good.